Hello, Miss Hedges here. So, we are ready for the next chapter of slime. Can you remember what happened last time? Can you remember how slime is made? Can you remember what trick Ned played? Oh, excuse my cat. Can you remember the trick that Ned played on his sister? Yeah, and then how did he get out the window? On that big slime slide. Out he went. Whoosh. Okay, so this chapter is called Slime Ball. Ned slid down the side of slime at speed. Whoosh! His family's cottage stood on the edge of a cliff overlooking the sea. If the boy didn't stop sliding, he was going to be hurled off the edge to meet his end on the rugged rocks below. Ned saw the bottom of the slide approaching fast and screamed, "Ah!" He shut his eyes tight. He couldn't bear to watch what was about to happen. But in the blink of an eye, the slide of the slime became longer and longer and longer still. Then it arched and twisted, and the boy found himself doing a loop-the-loop on his bottom. He screamed again, but this time in pleasure. He'd never had so much fun. The side of the slime arced away from the cliff edge and onto some fields near the cottage. It kept on getting fatter and fatter until it wasn't a slide anymore. Oh no, it had turned into a slime rink. A slime rink is a lot like an ice rink, but instead of ice, you guessed it, slime. A slink. The whole field was now covered with slime. Ned shot across on his bottom. Whoosh! Whee! He exclaimed. Finally, he came to a hole. Then, at dizzying speed, slime translimed again. The edges of the slime rink curled up and closed in on itself. Now slime had come together to form a giant ball, a slime ball. It turned along the field, trundle, trundle, with little Ned inside it. Then the slime ball began to bounce. It bounced and bounced and bounced and bounced. It bounced over a sheep. Meh. Donk. It bounced over a hedge. Rustle. Donk. Now it was bouncing along the lane. Up ahead, Ned could hear a tractor approaching. Chug, chug, chug. The sound of the mighty vehicle was growing louder and louder. Chug, chug. The tractor was heading straight for them. Chug, chug, chug. "Look out!" screamed Ned, not sure where Slime's eyes might be at this precise moment, it being a bouncing ball and all. Donk! Ned could feel the slime ball bouncing high up in the air. Whoosh! He heard the tractor pass underneath him. Chug, chug, chug. Just as Ned felt a wave of relief that he'd not been run over by a tractor, he felt a wave of panic. Panic because the slime ball was inside. Was now high up in the sky, so high that it hit a flock of seagulls. Squawk, squawk, squawk. One of the seagulls pecked at the slime ball. Peck. It burst. Instantly, Ned began tumbling through the air. "Help!" he cried, but Slime acted fast. It whizzed down ahead of him and translimed into a trampoline. A slimaline. Ned hit the slimaline at speed and bounced up into the air. Boing! And again. Boing! A smile spread across the boy's face. He was alive, and what's more, he was bouncing. Boing, boing, boing. Yippee! He yelped in delight. He yelped too soon. Looking down, he saw the slimaline disappear from beneath him. No! He cried, falling rapidly. The boy looked all around. Try as he might, he couldn't see Slime anywhere. This is the end, he thought. The road below him was speeding towards him. Then, swoosh! Well, let's hope Slime saved him. A giant eagle, every colour of the rainbow, swooped down under Ned. It swept him high into the air. Now he was flying up above the sea, the cliff, the cottage. "You really can be anything," cried the boy. "Anything?" exclaimed the bird of slime, or slurred. From all the way up here, the Isle of Mulch looked tiny. The houses looked small, the trees looked small, the people looked small. The people looked so small, in fact, that they were little more than ants. As for the ants, they looked really, really, really small. For the first time in this short life, Ned felt something he'd never felt before. Power. Slime power. Imagine if you had slime power, what would you do? The boy had created something that could change everything. The Isle of Mulch was full of horrid grown-ups who made the lives of all children miserable. Now, Ned could get his own back on all these nasty characters, not just for him, but for all the children on the island. There was no better time for Ned to start than now. Well, we obviously met quite a few of the people on the Isle of Mulch at the beginning of the book. I wonder which character he's going to get his own back on first. Let's see in the next chapter. Raths Rules. Can you remember who Rath was? Yeah, the head teacher of Mulch School for Revolting Children. This way, exclaimed the boy as he flew through the sky. Look, that's my old school. I want to introduce you to my horrid headmaster. Oh, goody, goody, replied Slime. Here you can see him outside his school. Looks very different to our schools, doesn't it? The bird flapped its wings and began swooping off in the direction of a terrifying Gothic building overlooking the sea. A huge sign outside read, Mulch School for Revolting Children. A bell chimed. Ding! It was the beginning of the school day. Things started indecently early at Mulch School, at the break of dawn. That is how the headmaster liked it. The children having to get up in the middle of the night to be at school on time was all part of the torture. Ned smiled to himself. I wonder what he's thinking. At the thought of what naughtiness was to come, as he began descending to the playground. Just as soon as the bird of Slime's feet touched down, it placed Ned onto a bench and then translimed back into a blob. The blob loomed behind the boy like a great slimy shadow. Let's give Mr. Rath something to be angry about, began the boy. Goody, goody. Not unsurprisingly, after seeing a giant bird of slime land in the playground, the teachers all hurried out of the old school building, pointing and shouting. I don't believe it, shouted one. I won't believe it, shouted another. I will believe it, but I can't believe it, shouted a third. The pupils of Mulch School all pressed their faces up against the classroom windows to see. They were too frightened of the teachers to dare step outside into the playground without permission. Then a man with a long black gown draped over his shoulders stormed out of the building. He whisked the cloak around theatrically, as if he were Count Dracula twirling his cape. Swish! It was only his teacher's gown, but it afforded him an air of evil that he relished. Mr. Rath, the headmaster, had a big, bald head, so he looked like an egg with a little moustache drawn on it. This moustache would flare up whenever he exploded with rage, which was often. So often, in fact, that Mr. Rath was in a rage more often than not. Take a look at his rageometer on Mr. Rath's typical day. Huff, bluster, uproar, tantrum, frenzy, fury, rage. As you can see, his rage is literally off the scale. It is certainly off the page. Mr. Rath raged at all the children in Mulch School, as it was the only school that was all the children on the island. The lucky ones got whacked with a wooden ruler. The unlucky ones were whacked with a wooden ruler and then expelled. Landing giant birds in the playground is strictly forbidden, he raged at Ned as he marched towards him. Even though landing a giant slime bird in the playground was not covered in the school rules, the headmaster was confident he could invent one. Mr. Rath had invented a long list of his own rules over a 30-year reign of terror at Mulch School. These rules remind me of another story where she's more a headmistress or overseeing the school, makes up lots of rules. So let's look at some of his rules. Raths rules. Number 1, no comparing me to an egg. I do not look like an egg. Eggs do not have moustaches, and I have a moustache, so that is the end of it. Anyone who does compare me to an egg will be expelled. Also, my head is a lot bigger than an egg, and I have ears, and last time I checked, eggs do not. Oh dear. Number 2, no breaking wind on school premises without a letter of consent from the headmaster. Even if a bottom burp comes out by accident when you catch a cricket ball, you will be expelled. Number 3, no laughing at school. You have not come to school to laugh. Crying, sobbing or bawling of any kind is welcome, though there is no better sound than a child blubbering. Anyone heard laughing will be struck with a wooden ruler and then expelled. Well, that doesn't sound a very nice school. Number 4, no excuses whatsoever for late homework. I don't care if your house took off in a tornado or you were abducted by aliens. If your homework is so much as 1 second late, you will be expelled. Number 5, no moaning about school dinners. Shoefish are incredibly tasty and can be used in every single dish in the school canteen. Shoefish spread, shoefish pie, shoefish stew, shoefish curry, shoefish cake, shoefish blancmange, shoefish mousse, shoefish surprise, the surprise being it's made of shoefish. Anyone overheard moaning about school dinners will be forced to finish their school dinner before being, you guessed it, expelled. Number 6, no wearing your tie the wrong way round, so the skinny part is on the outside and the wide part is on the inside. Anyone found with their school tie the wrong way round will be spun around by their tie and expelled out of the window. Number 7, no playing in the playground. At break time and lunchtime, you are only permitted to stand around in the rain. There shall be no playing of games. Any child caught playing games will be forced to stand outside in the rain and then expelled. Number 8, no chocolate allowed on school premises. Any chocolate will be confiscated personally by me. I will then dispose of the chocolate by eating it. Anyone who refuses not to hand over their chocolate to me will not be expelled. They will be held upside down by their ankles and dangled out of the window until they hand over their chocolate. After I've eaten their chocolate, then, and only then, will they be expelled. Oh, there's more. 9, no sneezing during lessons. It is disruptive to work. If you do feel a tickle in your nose telling you that a sneeze is coming on, then for goodness sake, wait until you return home and then sneeze. Anyone heard sneezing in school will be expelled. Just as a sneeze expels snot from your nose, a handy metaphor, as children equal snot. Don't know about you, but if I needed to sneeze, I wouldn't be able to hold on until I got home. Number 10, no complaining about how many rules there are in the school. Oops, I think we've already done that. Anyone found complaining will not be expelled, as that is what they would want. Instead, they will be put down a year, every year, and be forced to stay at the school forever. Just ask old man Giles. He is 92 and has been at Mulch School all of his life. Oh dear, poor man. Ned was one of the hundreds of children who had ever been expelled from the school over the years. The headmaster had expelled so many that there were now more teachers than there were children, as this handy graph shows. So we can see here at one point there were lots of students, not so many teachers. The number of students are going down, down, down. Number of teachers, they're going a bit up and down. But then here we can see we've got more teachers than we do students. But now, Ned was back and he was ready for revenge. So we'll find out what he does next. We just caught a peep and this looks a bit like an egg. Let's find out soon. Take care.